The humid Yucatan air hung thick, a perpetual shroud over the crumbling Mayan temple we'd uncovered. Rain lashed against our tents, a discordant symphony that echoed the unease gnawing at my gut. It was the third night in a row marred by nightmares. The same haunting face twisted in a mask of obsidian staring back at me, eyes burning with a malevolent light. I dismissed Christopher's worried gaze. "Just fatigue, Chris," I told him, forcing a smile, but even my own words lacked conviction. We were close, so close to a breakthrough. The inscription we'd found, a spiral of cryptic symbols, pointed to a secret chamber. It was unlike anything ever unearthed, a find that could rewrite history. But the discovery came at a cost, a creeping paranoia that slithered through my every waking moment, a pressure building behind my eyes that threatened to shatter my sanity. The next morning, dawn broke over a clearing in the dense jungle, casting long shadows across the crumbling stone. As we dug, the anticipation crackled in the air like static electricity. And then, Christopher yelled, his voice echoing off the ancient stones, "It's here! The chamber!" Dirt crumbled away, revealing a passage sealed by a massive obsidian door. The carvings on its surface shimmered with an eerie luminescence. My heart pounded against my ribs as a feeling of forbidden knowledge washed over me. We entered, our flashlights cutting through the oppressive darkness. There, nestled on an altar, lay the mask. It pulsed with a faint heat, radiating an energy that both repelled and enticed me. Just then, a voice slithered through the humid air. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Brandon Hayes, my perpetual rival. His arrival was always a storm cloud, bringing with it an undercurrent of resentment and thinly veiled threats. "This isn't over until you publish your findings, Oceane," he sneered, his eyes fixated on the mask. "We're partners in this, aren't we? Just like old times." His offer was a thinly veiled bribe, a rotten fruit on which I couldn't possibly bite. Days turned into weeks, filled with feverish research and desperate attempts to decipher the mask's language. The whispers grew louder, infiltrating my thoughts, twisting my dreams into nightmarish visions of Xolotl, the vengeful Mayan warlord whose embodiment is this very mask. We found the answer in an ancient Mayan text, centuries old, fragmented and cryptic. It spoke of Xolotl, bound to this life by a curse, his spirit yearning to escape. And the mask, his vessel, the key to his liberation. Then Brandon reappeared, a predatory gleam in his eyes. He held the missing pages of the text, a sly smile playing on his lips. "I believe I can help," he drawled, his voice dripping with honeyed poison. "The text reveals a binding ritual. We can imprison Xolotl, control him." He outlined the ritual, a complex series of incantations and sacrifices, the blood of a willing subject, of which he'd conveniently offer his own to secure our partnership. His gaze, however, lingered for a second too long on me, a flicker of something dark I couldn't understand. Christopher's hand squeezed mine, his expression a mix of fear and doubt. "ECE, he's manipulating us. Maybe this mask should be left alone." But I was no longer listening. The whispers drowned out his voice, promising ultimate power, the satisfaction of finally conquering the demons that hunted me. The night of the eclipse arrived, a swirling mass of charcoal darkness against a shimmering sky. As the ritual commenced, the air crackled with barely contained energy. Brandon, eyes blazing with unholy light, chanted in a guttural tongue, his movements becoming erratic, his skin taking on a sickly greenish hue. And then Xolotl erupted. The mask on his face fractured, its obsidian surface shattering to reveal a visage of pure malevolence. Brandon screamed, his voice a tortured echo before being swallowed whole by the entity possessing him. His eyes locked onto mine, a chilling glare of triumph. "Fools," Xolotl spat, his voice a rasping whisper that echoed through the chamber. "You have only hastened my freedom. I am Xolotl, and this world shall bow before me." He rose, his form contorting and growing, hunger radiating from his pores. Panic surged through me, drowning out everything but the primal fear gripping my heart. But as I watched Xolotl, something shifted within me. It wasn't Christopher's trembling hand, nor the terror in his eyes. It was the knowledge, the whispers clawing at my mind, revealing a terrifying truth. Brandon wasn't simply seeking power, he was seeking to become Xolotl. He'd manipulated us, played us against each other, all for this moment. I tore my gaze from the looming figure of Xolotl, turning to face my erstwhile partner. Despair warred with a chilling understanding. Brandon, consumed by ambition, had surrendered his soul to a being of pure darkness. And the sacrifice? It wasn't a mere pawn in his game. It was me. He'd lured me into this trap, dangled a promise of redemption in front of my eyes, all the while waiting for this very moment. The moment I would prove myself worthy of becoming Xolotl's vessel, a pawn in his grand, twisted game. "Give me your soul, Oceane," Xolotl boomed, his laugh echoing through the chamber, "and together we will rule this world." There was no escape, no turning back. I met his gaze, a flicker of defiance in my eyes. I had surrendered to fear for too long, chased the shadows instead of the light. Time for a change. I held out my hand, my blood trickling through the wounds I'd inflicted on myself. My life force, my essence poured into the obsidian mask. "Embrace me, Xolotl," I whispered. "Let us rule together. Let the dance of darkness begin."